Written on a whiteboard. I see a familiar cluster of curls. It's O, the father of the twins, my favorite pupils. Hit by a family tragedy, they are sensitive to the inappropriate content of the curriculum for English as a second language. Elementary school and the twins can easily enter university. Their intelligence is far beyond most of the teachers, who barely made it to the teacher's seminar, like my old friend C, who was one of the weakest pupils in class. Silent and heavy-set, she sat at the back alongside my former friend L. Both got a C average at the most. Unintelligent, despite being diligent and having had neat notebooks where they would write in a curly cursive, neat rose and blue ink, so easy to read, yet never displaying intelligence, curiosity, or interesting insights. C had a long, thick, dark braid she wore up most days. She was exempt from gym, which is where we had met at the 8th grade. Sitting on the benches of the gym hall, I had a note from the doctor exempting me from gym because of my low iron level. C was exempt because of her very heavy frame that did not permit her much movement. I was quite content to not take part in the gym classes. I hated authority, being told what to do, and my space cadet nature had made me an unpopular volleyball or basketball player. Despite my height, I daydreamed most of the time, thus avoiding the ball at basketball. So much so, a very short, petite, chocolate-skinned Yemenite girl with a beak-like nose had been chosen first in basketball, while I remained alone next to C on the wooden bench. And mostly gossip. C was a great one for gossip. Tall and heavy, C was an observer, a plant, left to observe the active children participating in gym class. D, a tall, thin, freckled-faced girl who later became a gym teacher, surprise, surprise, a face like peppermint patty and a tall, thin frame made her invincible in running. The great exception to my bench time at the gym was the 100-meter run, where I'd almost always managed to take second or third place. I guess my low iron allowed me to participate in short races and perform well running. Short races. Running was a good outlet for social rejection and other frustrations of puberty. Running served me well at the Army basic training later on, when no doctor note appeared to have saved me. I had an almost perfect medical profile as a young recruit to the Army, so I assume either my mother faked the doctor's note or the Army didn't really care about my iron blood level. I was about to get run over by a car speeding along a highway as I was crossing it, not paying attention, and so my running days were soon over. Except for that one Santa Claus marathon my ex-husband made me run so we could run as a family. I ended up in an ambulance after I had collapsed. My soon-to-be ex-husband and 3 young children, 6, 5, and 3 years old, had sprinted and had soon disappeared amongst the herd of runners on the cobblestone streets. My soon-to-be ex-husband had ignored the phone calls from the medic, and so I had to make my way home on the tramway without my wallet, money, or tram pass. Fast forward many decades later, I would go to a job interview where C had been employed as a science teacher for 3rd grade. I was offered an absurd amount of money in exchange for giving 1st graders yoga lessons, which was my attempt to escape the cruel fate of being a cashier at a small supermarket. I had 2 academic degrees, many traumatic experiences, having lived abroad, and so despite excelling and high school biology and literature, and participating in science classes for gifted pupils at the local university at age 14, 2 academic degrees from prestigious academic institutions. One was rated the top 100 universities in the world. It was not I who had taught science at elementary school, but C, the C pupil, who had barely passed the matriculation and had entered the teacher seminar quite early, had completed a training of science for elementary school, and was the one teaching the future generation science. Needless to say, I did not get the job teaching yoga. What a mockery of the hare and the tortoise turtle fable my life had become. Sure, I could run, excel at high school, science, gain entrance to the university of my choice, write a master's thesis. However, for whatever reason, I did not achieve a stable place of employment, nor a steady income. After my mother had passed away, I had lost any financial stability and was reduced to writing down my memories at a local ice cream shop, next to a babysitter whose earnings far exceeded my salary as an elementary school English teacher. I was back where I had been born and grew up, determined to beat the slow turtles in the race of life. I was very close to the finishing line. It wouldn't be long before the race of life would be over, and all that would remain of me, besides my skeleton, would be words written down in an ice cream shop, while ignoring the far inferior woman far inferior to me in intelligence, but far quicker than I to earn money and sustain a relatively high social economic level, of purchasing a black poodle and traveling with a life partner around the world, unable to converse in English, but very fluent in practical matters, of obtaining earnings, making her superior to me financially, the same way C was superior to me in employment stability, enough so she was able to create 2 children with the help of a sperm bank. Being intelligent did not ensure me of stability, success, or love, but it did allow me to select my so-called friends, so I would not need to go back to the old days of the schoolyard, sitting on a wooden bench, a doctor's note held in one frail hand, and an ear full of malicious gossip by C. I was not without malice myself. However, I hope the gift of brain power allowed me to note down my observations of life as I saw it. Cynical, disappointing, a faithful 4-legged friend at my feet, a dog, or near my head, a cat. And no regrets at all of how the race of life had placed me far behind lesser intelligent, lesser gifted individuals who had, however, diligently proceeded to run at the same lane several decades. Life will soon be over. C has retired from her nearly 4 decades of teaching science to 3rd graders, writing neatly on a whiteboard facts that she understood at a very basic level. Her brilliant ability to convey information to others, no doubt enhanced by years of malicious gossip, had earned her a respectful title, teacher, while mine would be wanderer, written sometimes with an A and sometimes with an O. The end.